You're welcome.
Jessica was just one. She was the first one. You know what, Bernadette, she said her link is not working correctly. I don't know.
I'll send it to her
Oh,
again.
you know what? I got her. I think she's coming in right now. Thank you. I just want to make sure she gets on here. Okay, here we go. There you are. Hello. Jessica, when we take breaks like that, a lot of times people won't come back on because, you know, they saw what they needed to see and they'll move on. Everybody jump back on because your story is, it's just amazing. I mean, you know, we're going to support you. I want to tell you a very positive story. I was driving to Tucson and we stopped a couple times all the way down the 10. And every time we stopped, I saw a poster with your daughter's face on it. And I went to Glendale the other day and every store had a poster of your child on there. You're doing so much and you encourage families that would not know what to do. I think that you definitely have a voice that people are willing to listen to, and I think you can make a huge impact in our community. So I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing because, you know, I think of Elizabeth Smart, man. Nobody thought that that girl was ever coming back, and she did. You know, so you have to believe in something, and I know you believe in God. You're a Christian. I am as well, and I just encourage you to keep going because every day they're finding more and more kids in these houses and these places, and you know, parents are getting their kids back, and I believe a lot of that is just your voice, you encouraging everybody to keep going. And I know it's not easy, and you know, I just want you to know that even though you're going through this, you always have this community to help support you, and we're always going to be here, and I'll always be your friend. I will never change that no matter what. So I want to make sure that you understand that because I can't imagine that you have a lot of good days. I think you have more probably bad than good, but you can be a power of influence for a lot of people. I shared your story today with law enforcement, and I told them that a couple of weeks ago, a grandma called me, and her granddaughter, she realized, was being lured and groomed, and she received a package in the mail. She's 10. And grandma was there and intercepted it and opened it and made her open it in front of her, and she did, and it was a mini skirt, but it didn't have a return address. It didn't have anything. And she called me right away. What do I do? My husband said, you call the police right now and you make a report, because if you don't do that and something happens, you don't have any kind of written documentation. You don't have any kind of anything. And she was like, oh my gosh, what, like, I'm so scared. And I said, you know what, Melody, you saw it though, and you're doing something about it. She's been following you. She's been watching. So I know you don't see it, but you're making an impact in people's lives, and they're paying attention to what you're saying, and it's supporting them on seeing those bigger things. So Alicia's life is going to save others, and I really believe you should, you should be, think of yourself as something bigger than I know you do, because you are. I wanted to just share with all of you that Responders Unite was created to help military families originally in 2015, and it went on the shelf because the person that encouraged me to do it at Luke Air Force Base passed away. I put it on the shelf, and then this boy in Buckeye had the incident that he did, and I went out and I started it up again, and I changed the dialogue to police officers because they're lethal, and I wanted to make sure that we focused on training officers about the developmental delays. Drowning is one of the leading causes of the autism community, and officers don't know that. So if these kids elope and they go and run out of their homes, a lot of times these officers don't understand, go look for water in that area because that's probably where they're going. We don't know why, but that's what happens. And so just educating that type of information is, you see the light bulbs go on, and these are 20-year officers, 15-year officers that think they already know everything. They've seen it all. They've seen the worst of the worst, right? But then when your story came, I told Bernadette, I said, we are going to bring a voice to our community, and it's going to be based on crisis intervention, because you have a story, but I have so many other families out there, families that have kids that wanted to take their lives. They tried taking shoestrings and hanging themselves. I've seen it and heard it all. And I really believe that just being able to talk about this and bringing these stories to these families, every one of us was impacted tonight. We all couldn't get back on fast enough to hear the things that you shared with us and how we could be better at parenting these kids, because you're absolutely right. Sometimes they're the best con artists you'll ever meet. Sometimes they're the best negotiators that you'll ever meet. Sometimes they will do things that are secretive that you don't even know that they will do. And you learn because you go through their phone, you go through their social media, and you start discovering things that you never saw. And they don't want to get anybody in trouble because they care about others more than themselves. And that's why they do it. And they believe everybody's their friend. And unfortunately, they realize when it's too late, because they do have a developmental delay. So we have all seen it, and we're all absolutely capable of missing the signs. So don't beat yourself up, because you know what? All of us went through this, and we've gone through it millions of times in our journeys. That's why we all stick together, because we understand what you're saying. I would love for people to have the ability to ask a question, or if they just want to make a comment, I would love to open it up. So if you just want to, maybe just go ahead and jump in, I would love that.
Cricket, I'll jump in real quick.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Isabella peek her head in while I was listening, but I actually called her. I said, Isabella, come here. I said, I want you to hear this, mommy. I said, her little girl was taken, and we don't know if she's going to be back. And I want you to understand that if anybody ever tells you they want to see a picture of you, thank you for sharing that part, Jessica, or Cricket, whoever shared it about the picture, them wanting a picture, or if they ever say, I want to meet you, I said, you tell mommy immediately so I can call the police. But Isabella's on gaming with Roblox. She's obsessed with it to the point where I don't know if you could tell, but we didn't start right away because, hey, not right now. Okay, not right now. I don't know if you could tell, but I had to get up and go take her computer away from her just so that I could hear you guys so we could do our thing. So as a mom of a 10-year-old girl, I'm more vigilant than ever looking. In fact, I have a duplicate screen of what she does sitting on my desk. She works right across from me, and I got a screen right here that I can see. So everything she's doing, whatever game she's playing, anything she's typing, I can see her responses. So Jessica, I just want to say thank you, because I know it wasn't easy for you to share publicly, and just your heartbreak, and my heart breaks for you as well. And like Cricket said, we will do whatever we can to help you find your daughter. And I will be praying that you do. Like you said, Cricket, the smart girl, it's unbelievable how many years later, 22 years later, I think it was. And there is hope. There is hope. So thank you so much for sharing once again. Does anybody else want to share?
Yes, this is Rosemary. Jessica, I just wanted to thank you for doing this and being a voice for your daughter and so many other people out there. Yeah, I was going to ask Cricket if you can send the picture of Alicia to us, and we can in our neighborhoods post them up when we're able to. But back to Jessica, just thank you for sharing that, because I know it has to be heartbreaking. I have 3 girls, and I cannot imagine. It's like when you were talking and when Cricket started, I started crying along with you guys, because it's just so devastating. And my prayers are with you, and we can only keep hope that your daughter does come back home. And thank you again for sharing. Sorry, I'm gonna get out because I'm gonna start crying again.
Yeah, it is really difficult again, but my goal was to I had no idea. Like, for example, that grandmother send a skirt, it's reality. And I guess I was living in a different world. I never thought, I never had nobody this happen to no one. And knowing the way my daughter's personality is, like how I that cannot come to my head how this will happen, but I'm seeing that they groom them. And again, they don't know. They think it's true, they told her you'll come back or whatnot, and she probably believed it. And like Cricket said, she has taken responsibility of her friends' actions just for them not to get in trouble, because that's the way our kids are. That's the way their mentality works. But unfortunately, the way the world works out there is totally different. And I had no idea. Maybe I was living in a different world, but I had no idea about this dark web, about all these predators. And especially now with COVID, since we're all, here online and all that, it just makes it more difficult as us as parents, because right now it's all about technology. It's all about this. And our children just want to fit in. Most of them, they just want to fit in. They don't want to be something different, and they think by me doing this or that, and unfortunately a lot of times it gets them in trouble. And I appreciate you listening, and I hope that it, I just don't want nobody else to go through this. And I never thought it would happen to me. My daughter grew up in a private school since she was small. She was an honor roll student. She did have challenges, you know, with I had to buy her McDonald's every day, because that's all she ate is McDonald's. And I miss that, I miss it. I really do. She, I miss it, and I feel so empty. But I'm not giving up, and I'm not. It's not about what people think about me or about what I could have done. It's about me sharing my story and making a difference in somebody else's life. And hopefully we'll wake up as a community and realize that this is real, that there's people who groom our young children, our future, and it has to stop. It has to stop. So thank you.
Does anybody have anything else? Yes.
I would like to say something. My name is Amanda. I am not a parent yet of a child with autism. I am currently pregnant, so we'll see what happens when my baby's here. But I am a provider in the community, and your story resonates so strongly with me because I'm a huge advocate in my field of ABA and making sure that people understand that this is something that needs to be taught, and not just community safety of how do you cross the street, who's your community response, like first responders. It goes beyond who can you share your personal information with. It goes beyond identifying a teacher is safe to do that with, because not all teachers are safe to do that with. Not all, people are safe to do that with. And teaching to compliance with those things are not appropriate, because then we get in situations like this. And so I want to thank you for sharing your story. And I want you to know that there is a lot of room for growth, not just with first responders, but all frontline workers, be it DDD supports, ABA providers, police, doctors, veterinarians, teachers, where we need to do better in ensuring that our children learn self-advocacy, that they learn good friends from not good friends, that they learn not all adults are there to help us, and we don't listen to every adult because they're an adult. And I know in a lot of places and cultures, it's like, well, they're your elder, you have to listen. Well, some of them are not safe. So identifying those safe situations and hearing you talk, I want you to know that it's, no matter how hard you could have looked at things, it's not on you, it's on the person who took her. And so a lot, you know, you say, well, maybe I could have done more. You did everything you could do as a loving mother. And that's all any child can ask for. And I want you to know that I hear you. I'm here for you. I don't know you, but nothing in what you've done in the last year and 5 months has shown that you could have done something different. The predators that do this are good at what they do. This is why they're predators, and this is why they're good at what they do. And we as a community of frontline workers need to be better at identifying these things and using teachable moments before these things happen. So thank you for your story, because this is going to help us as providers, as family, as a community, work together to stop these people and help find your child. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, and well said. I believe there's a lot of room to growth about this. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yes,
Hi.
thank you.
Hi, Jessica. I just wanted to let you know that I'm very moved by your courage to share your story with all of us. What has happened to your beautiful daughter could happen to any of us. And I completely agree with Amanda that you can look at things and say, well, I could have done this or I should have done this, but you can't do that because you did the very best that you could for your daughter, and with what you knew to do. You know, as parents of kids who have autism, we are faced with challenges and obstacles that other parents simply don't face. Everything, it seems, is a struggle every day, things that should come naturally, things that other people take for granted with their neurotypical children. We live a completely different kind of life. You know, there's even a statistic about that most of us suffer from PTSD as a combat soldier would, because it's a fight every day to try to help our children just to make it in this world. So what I want you to know is I heard you pour your heart out. You are a wonderful mother. You did everything you could. The most hyper vigilant person in the world could not prevent something like this from happening if, as Amanda said, a predator is determined to come into your child's life and act this way. So what I pray also is that you just don't be so hard on yourself about this. I do not believe you could have prevented this, even with all the oversight in the world, if a predator was determined. So we just have to do the best we can. You've done the best you could, and you can take heart in that. And I'm a woman of deep faith and a Christian. I will be praying for your daughter. I will be looking for her when I go out into the community. And I just want to just hang in there. We're here for you. And I have faith that your daughter will come home to you.
I hope that, you know, we attend a lot of networking events, Jessica, throughout the community. And tonight I was able to be on the Chamber of Commerce in Glendale, and I shared your story a little bit and asked them to just to, you know, be aware, because they're in the community right where you live. And they asked me to share a flyer with them. And I think they have, at one point they had over 900 members in the community. That's just 900 more people that are going to be looking, you know. My husband, he's a Phoenix officer. He knows your story. I share all the time with him and tell him, when you find this type of stuff in your job, let me know if you find her. We need to find this girl. And he understands, you know. I think your voice is the reason that her spirit will stay alive, and you will continue, you know, sharing this. People, somebody's going to find her one day. And if they do, you know, it's going to be because you did bring the awareness. There's so many kids that are missing in this world. We don't even know. Their parents just, they go into depression, they give up, you know. You haven't done that. You've gone the complete opposite direction. But you know why, in my opinion? Because you're an autism mom. You can't go the other way. You can't go the other way. That's who we
I
are.
was about to unmute myself because I'm an autistic mom, and since she was small and I found out her challenges, I will continue to fight with her, for her. and for any other special needs child, because I know how it is to be autistic mother and the challenges that we go through. But you know what? I would not change it for the world.
No.
I miss her. I will not change it. I'll go over through it again and again. I don't care. I have to go to McDonald's every day for my daughter. And, I am really, really blessed because, I do have a page on her. I have millions of, views in TikTok, and it's just me, a mid-age mom, have no idea. So I strongly believe, because I'm an autistic mom, and, we are warriors, and I'm not giving up. And, I'm not.
Jessica, we do these workshops every week. Bernadette will make sure that you get, the invites. Even if you just jump in and say, hey, do you mind if I say something? Share it with everybody. We do 2 in Spanish, 4 in English every week. And if you just want to share your story, we can have the flyer up there and we can remind everybody. I have no problem doing that. That'll be part of our presentations out in the community. I'm going to be training a lot of law enforcement. I will have those flyers with me so that we can start really getting the word out there. I don't know what the ending will be. None of us do. But if we all put our minds together, at least we're keeping everything alive. And that's what's really important right now, I think. So stay positive. That's all I can say. Guys, is there anybody else that has anything? If not, I just want to share with you, and you can cut me off if you do want to say anything. But Jessica, we built our first program, our phase of our program that we're going into the West Valley with is called our Phase 1 Core 4 Survival Skills. And this is 4 programs that we're going to be working with law enforcement, mental and behavioral health, education leaders, and early intervention providers. Our municipalities are hearing our program and they are jumping on board, mayors, council people, all of them. And they're doing it because we tell them, listen, this is the beginning stages of how we're going to get these kids to an independent, safe environment, life as they grow into an adult. And so our Core 4 Survival Skill program really came because of your story and the kid in Buckeye's story and the story of the 18-year-old that was dropped off in the homeless community on his 18th birthday because mom and dad didn't have a solution for him. We are using these stories to help support our communities be better at bridging the gaps and making us in a safer environment and be more willing to open their minds to amber alerts, silver alerts, things like that. We have a girl that just joined us. Her name's Lakin, and she is an ASU student, and she's a sibling of autism. And she told Bernadette and I the other day, I'm an ASU student, and I have 2 more years, and then she's going to go for who knows what. But this girl is amazing. And she's a forensic psychologist major, but she also wants to do legislation, and she wants to do laws that pertain to the disabled, especially autism communities, to support our families when they go to court, when things like this happen, that our legislatures, our leaders, our law enforcement, and our political leaders within our cities understand that it has to be different with our kids. It has to be introduced differently with our kids. And we are going to bring her on board. She's super excited about it. And we're going to ask her to help support us on this mission to ensure that we bring awareness to all of the things that are going on out in the community with this community and how vulnerable they are. And I'm super excited to see where we end up. But I want to say thank you to all of you for attending tonight. And if there's nothing else, have a great evening. And Jessica, if you ever need anything, we're all here. As you can tell, we're all here to support you, and we would be glad to continue sharing your story. So please keep us posted. If you need flyers handed out, whatever it is, we're here to help support you. Thank you.
Cricket, I'll share something real quick. Well, first of all, if you're not on our email list, please put your email in the chat that you would like for me to send an invite to, and I'll add you to our email list. But, this grooming doesn't just happen with young kids. My niece, like I was sharing with Cricket a couple months ago, my niece was telling me a story, and I sat there and I thought about it, and I thought, oh my gosh, these guys are going to steal these girls. They're grooming them. My niece is 19 years old. She's an ASU student, and her and 3 friends, one of the friends was talking to some guy that they met online, and he tells him, oh, let me take you out to dinner. all 4 girls. Who's this young guy who's a college guy, supposedly, that's going to be paying for dinner for all these girls at a nice restaurant? So he tells them to take an Uber to where he's at. And so they couldn't make up their mind fast enough what they were going to do. So then he says, oh, I'll just come pick you up and I'll take you to dinner. So he ends up picking them up. Long story short, he ends up picking them up. He starts driving them somewhere where they don't know where they're going. This is 4 months ago. And she said that her and her friends were, and it was in a van filled with other girls, all giggling, all having fun. And they start talking to, it's giving me chills right now, but they started talking amongst themselves saying, where are we going? Where are we going? And they asked, so where are we going? And he never answers them. Half hour later, they're at a multi-million-dollar mansion in Tempe. And the girls get out of the car and there is this huge party going on. They've got a swimming pool. They have rooms where you could spend the night if you want. They have drawers filled with bathing suits and all kinds of things that you need in order to spend the night anywhere. So you don't have to worry about packing a bag. And they started to feel funny about things because everyone was drinking, they were smoking, they were partying. They were having a party, a huge party. And so these 4 young girls, fortunately, were smart enough to get a funny feeling and tell them that they wanted to go home. Well, these guys didn't take them home, but the guys could see that they weren't going to be able to, that they weren't going to be easily groomed. And so they ended up calling the girls an Uber and ended up paying for the Uber to take them home because they were just going to be more hassle than they were worth. But when my niece came home and she told me about it, I immediately called Cricket. I said, Cricket, I said, something's not right with this. I said, I think that this is a trafficking situation. And so Cricket's been doing some research on the place. I was able to get the address from my niece, and she's so vulnerable and still naive that she's like, no. And I said, Elizabeth, you need to let me know where you are at all times. So we have a tracker on her now. But needless to say, my point being is it doesn't just happen to these little girls. It's happening to older girls still at ASU. So I just wanted to share that so that you could share it with other young girls that think nothing of it, because that's just the way society is these days, especially with technology and Uber and social distancing. And now you can take Uber or Lyft wherever you want to go. So just beware. Thank you for letting me share, Cricket. And again, please put your information in the chat. And Cricket, did you want to share some more information here with some closing remarks?
I think we're done. I'm going to do this, guys. Every week, 3 of the month, we will have a community responder presentation just like this about a topic that is really out there that needs to be addressed. We'll definitely have Jessica, if she's willing to come back, we'll definitely have her come back and give us updates on things that may be coming into fruition, or things that she learned that are even, worse than what she's already shown us, that's going on out there. Because I think her experience and her wisdom, her education is just going to make us all better, especially those that are providing for these families. Guys, have a great night. I know we went 5 minutes over, but I really appreciate everybody. And Jessica, I will reach back out to you very soon just to connect with you and see if there's anything more that we can do to help support you as you go into the future. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
If anybody wants to join us next week, Tuesday, February 23rd at this time, 6:30, we will have a guest speaker as well on life skills for in our families in our community with service providers. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great
ladies.
night.
Bye. Thank you.
And Louisa, thank you for introducing us to Lakin.
Yes.
Oh,